Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am here for New Shelves Books and Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together to talk about publishing, book marketing, really anything having to do with the author journey. And we answer questions live here. You just go to newshelves.com/FAF to join us live on Zoom, or you can always email in questions to questions@freeadvicefridays.com. We take them throughout the week and answer them on Fridays. And then we do, of course, answer live on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, or we also put up the replay on YouTube every Monday. So you can always join us there as well on youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. And with that, let's get started. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Let's see. Hi, Beth. Hi, Caroline. All right. So we had a question today that was emailed in. Well, first I want to say as a follow-up, I believe it was last week, we talked about the whole trademark issue and what happens if someone comes after you and says that your book is in violation of trademark, or if your title is in trademark, because that happened to one of our crew here. And what happened, I did get a follow-up from Wendy just saying that she did speak to a lawyer. She spoke to a lawyer and it looks like there is actually no conflict. And so it looks like she's going to get to keep her title and not have to do anything with that. Certainly still following up and following through. But I think this just goes to show that when people send us things like, you're in infringement of trademark or different things like that, to take a deep breath, to calm down, and to just go through the steps of finding out where you really stand, because it seems like a couple of quick chats with the lawyer showed that she didn't have to totally take down her book and rename it and go through that whole rigmarole. So I think it's important, again, not to panic, but to follow through and just go through all the steps. Okay, so Wendy is just saying she does need to send a letter to the trademark person, even though there's no conflict. It didn't seem to be as clear cut as no problem, so you do have to go back and forth a little bit. Yes, but again, it may not be as big of an issue as possible. We love kids and puppies. I love kids and puppies like 99.9% of the time. No, I love them all the time. I like them 99.9% of the time. All right, let's see. Mary, I know we need separate ISBNs for print and Kindle, but do we need a different ISBN for every platform, such as Amazon, Ingram Spark? No, you don't, Mary. You just need one ISBN per format. So your paperback ISBN will travel with you to KDP for Amazon, to Ingram Spark, to Barnes & Noble Press if you're doing it. It really carries everywhere, although I think Barnes & Noble Press gives you a hard time. You can also use your ebook ISBN on all platforms: Kindle, Kobo, iBooks, Google. It goes everywhere with you. So just one ISBN per platform, but you do need a separate ISBN for every format. I think I totally just messed that up. One ISBN per format, but that goes to every platform. Just in case you weren't confused yet, I'm going to lend to that today. All right. When I use my free KDP days to promote my ebook, how do I drive traffic there? An email promotion site like Fussy Librarian, or what do I do? I'm lost. Pat, my favorite way to do an ebook promotion is when you're doing a free book promotion is, number one, post it on social media. Consider some Facebook ads. Facebook ads for free books tend to perform very well. And also get in one or two ebook promotion newsletters like Free Booksy, the Fussy Librarian, Robbins Reads. Let's see, there's a couple that do free ones. Not every newsletter does free books, but if you look, most of them do. And so set a budget. Say I've got $100 and I'm going to see how many I can get in for that, and do that. But I definitely recommend that if you're going to put your book for free, that you use some type of newsletter platform to let people know about it, or else it just kind of sits there. People don't know your book is free unless you drive people to that free book. And I had an emailed in question I'm going to pull. I now have daredevils out on the trampoline doing flips and things, which I can see. All right. Good morning. Let's see. If you had $2,000 to spend on PR for a memoir, where would you spend it? The memoir is a woman's journey for personal growth set on a working family cattle ranch that is about to go bankrupt. Well, Julie, I think if I had $2,000 to spend on PR for a memoir, my first question would be, are you looking for true PR or are you looking for marketing or a little bit of both? Because they are different. PR is kind of building up people talking about your book. It's getting featured maybe in the news. It's getting featured on blogs and different things like that. That's PR. Marketing is typically when you're paying for advertising that's driving sales of your book. So PR is getting people to be aware of your book, to talk about your book. Marketing is when you're actually asking for the sale, which again, typically comes with paid advertising. So it's important to know the difference between the two. And usually you want a little bit of both. And that may be either through a blog tour would be something that you may want to look into. That's a way to create some SEO and some interest. I would absolutely recommend that you spend a good chunk of your money in marketing and in ads. Depending on how your book's set up, if it's set up with wide distribution, I would be doing Amazon ads for KDP. If you are set up in Kindle Unlimited, you may consider Facebook ads. And ads different places. Are you going to launch with a discounted ebook? Are you going to launch at 99 cents? If so, maybe a BookBub ad is right for you. However, I do think it's important that one of the things you don't really pay for, but you really have to work towards is reviews. And I cannot stress enough that I don't run advertising for books that don't have at minimum 10 to 15 reviews. Because what I've seen happen time and time again is that you can get people to the sales page, you can get them over there, you can spend your money, but you're not going to convert to sales as often as you would like, because those reviews are your social proof. Those reviews are kind of how you go from getting people interested in your book to trusting your brand and your book enough to purchase the book. So my first order of business would be focusing on those reviews and having a strong plan of how you're going to do that. And whether that be by sending out to your personal newsletter list or working with someone else like Book Sirens, or are you going to do hidden gems? Working with other people is certainly important. Netflix. Guys, I've lost my mind today. NetGalley may be a really good thing for you. So reviews first, then some minimum amount of kind of PR to get your SEO and your interest up, and then marketing to drive those sales is what I'd be focusing on. And yes, thank you, Randy. Book awards are a great way to generate semi-free PR, because what happens is that once you're in book awards, they will often run their own PR for the winners for interest. So they will do media releases and things like that. So finding a couple of book awards can be a great way to get someone else to do PR for you. And also if you win an award, hey, isn't that great? The thing with awards is they do usually come with some type of entrance fee. So set your budget and go find your awards. And also of note is to make sure that when you are choosing awards, you're choosing an award that's upcoming. You don't want to enter an award that won't choose the winners, who won't announce the winners for another 11 months. If you do that, your PR is going to come a long time away. You want to make sure that you're looking at awards specifically that will have announcements and have some information upcoming in the next couple of months, so that you're getting that PR early on rather than, like I said, a year later. Not that anyone's going to complain about PR even a year later, but if the whole point is to launch your book and to get that rolling, it doesn't quite do its job. So those are the things, if I had $2,000 to spend on a launch, those are the things I'd really be focusing in on and spending my money on. And keep in mind that, yes, while your hope is that when you're running ads, that you're getting a return on that, you're getting book sales and you're making money on that. Sometimes it takes a little while to get there, and it does take money up front to run those ads. So you need to plan accordingly. Usually when I'm working with ads for people, I always recommend a minimum of $5 a day on Amazon, which if you're running them for a month, it quickly adds up. And then on Facebook, it can be as little as $1 a day. It just depends on how big of a scale you want to go on. So keep that in mind as you're budgeting, to actually have a realistic budget of how much you'll need to spend in the ads. Not to mention, if you're not willing or able to set up those ads on your own, you'll need to pay for help to do that. So factor in those costs. I think the big key to staying on budget for a book launch is to really sit down and budget. Give yourself an award budget, give yourself a budget for PR, give yourself a budget for your actual advertising dollars. Oh, that's a great idea. Maybe look at the Pioneer Woman blog for ranch, memoir, and that kind of audience. I think that's probably a great audience for you. And also sit down, take some time to realistically look at your audience. PR and marketing if you run PR and if you run marketing, but you're targeting the wrong audience, it won't take you anywhere. So it's really important that you sit down and you take the time to really find your audience. Who's reading books like yours? Who's buying books like yours? It's not always the same. And where are they hanging out at? I recently was working with some clients who have a book that is geared towards clients that they would have. And as we were going through with some of the things with their book and the book creation, they kept saying, I don't like that. And the question that I kept bringing up was, okay, but you're not your audience. Will your audience like it? And what will your audience expect? Because these women their book essentially is a type of mentorship for women that are more in their 20s, maybe 30s, and these women are a little bit more mature than that. So their style is different. The wording that they want to use is different. But if they're not targeting their audience, they're not going to get their audience. And people their age are very rarely, if ever, going to be interested in the content they have in their book. So if they target themselves, they would be losing out on their entire market. So it's really important that we look again to the reader, that we really figure out who our reader is, what they're looking for, what they're drawn to, and where they're hanging out. Because that should drive our marketing, that should drive our book covers, that should drive pretty much everything. Because we're here as authors to not only create something that we are proud of, but also to serve our target audience. And when I say serve our target audience, that even applies to fiction, because if your job in let's say contemporary romance, your job is to be entertaining, to give people the flutters, make them excited. If you are writing a self-help book, your job and your goal should always be to truly help, to break it down, to reach your audience where they're at. And so we're serving our market with our books. And if we're not doing that, we're not going to have very many readers. If we have a contemporary romance that is in a genre that's very, maybe angsty, but it usually ends pretty happy, and we are giving people doom and gloom and everyone dies in the end, we're not going to serve that audience very well, and they're probably not going to like us. We're not going to get good reviews, and they're not going to recommend us to their friends. And so our marketing is going to die off pretty early. So even though you as the author are writing your work and your story, it's also important that you keep your target audience in mind and how you can serve them as an author, because that is indeed, if you have anyone to answer to in self-publishing, it's really the reader, and making sure that you are serving them so that they come back for more, and so that you have done your job as an author, which I think we all want. We all want great reviews. We all want people to say that was the best book ever and you need to go read this. So having that balance of your work but serving your audience is really important. And that is a key to marketing and to successfully launching a book, as well as all of the things as far as, applying for advanced professional reviews from places like Kirkus and Library Journal and Publishers Weekly. And, as far as social media and everything else. Yes, that's all important and we should do that, but we also have other things to consider. So if you want a successful launch, it's not just going through the steps, it's going through the steps with your audience in mind. Let me see. And hopefully that really long-winded response answered your question. Let me see. All right. I had a great question the other day from an author about writing short stories and short fiction. When writing short stories and short fiction, the author was asking me, what is the most popular type of short story? She had read somewhere that short stories were, popping off and really popular, and as well as serialized fiction. And so she wanted to know what was the most popular short stories. And what came up, I kind of had an idea, but I went and backed up my thoughts with some research. And as far as short stories and serialized fiction, what is selling like crazy? No surprise in short stories. It is it's romance books, but it's erotica. It is short story erotica is what's selling like crazy in short stories, and also on Kindle Unlimited. And as far as true short stories and serialized fiction, that kind of goes across the barrier there. We're seeing fantasy, mystery are two of the big ones, and romance, yes, as well, general romance, but a lot of it does kind of lean towards erotica. So if you are looking at using a short story to build your audience, or digging into like Kindle Vella for some serialized fiction, things like that, fantasy, fantasy, sci-fi, mystery, and romance with a heavy side of erotica is what's selling. So it's good to know that. I think that there are a lot of authors who are using short stories to build their readership and their audience in between books. As we know, getting out a full-fledged novel can take a long time, but we have a lot of authors that I'm seeing building up their audience in the meantime, and their readership and their loyalty through short serialized fiction or through short stories that they put out cheap or free on Kindle Unlimited. And they start to build up their audience so that when they're launching their books, they're getting a bigger response. They're getting more readers. They have a bigger mailing list and all of that. And it's really a smart strategy, because if you can write a short story in a couple of days and get it up as an ebook, and you're getting a following that way, and it kind of ties in or has the same flavor as your full novels or books, it's a really great way to be able to reach people and to build that audience. Let's see. My mom has finished writing her middle grade book and is now working with an illustrator. Can we or should we start sending it out for review before the illustrations are done? Scott, you can. I think it depends on when you plan to launch. If you have the time to wait for the illustrations and a full finished interior PDF that's been formatted and all of that, you should wait. If those illustrations are going to be a key part of this book, you should wait, because when you're getting reviews and advanced reviews, they do take into account those illustrations. They do comment on those as well. So if you can, and your launch date is further out, I'd wait until it's completely finished and formatted in PDF form before sending out. However, if you're under the wire and you know you won't have time, then, I mean, you can always submit it without it and add illustrations in later. But again, it always depends on your timing. I know we're in August already, so most of the big review places, review houses, require a minimum of 3 months. Many of them are moving it to 4 months. So you're already looking at something that couldn't come out before November, December timeframe. If you plan to put your book out before then, go ahead and send off just the interior with no illustrations, because you're already cutting it close. But if you know that you're not going to launch until, let's say, spring, consider waiting so that you have a full book that you can turn in. Let's see. I think this is a simple question. Famous last words, David. How do you get your signature into the computer to use as an image, if that makes sense? I use a Mac, but not sure how to physically input a signature to save as an image. That's not dumb. Actually, it's super awesome. So there are a couple ways to do this. There are actual apps online that you can use to like handwrite a signature that you can then save. You can also simply, the easy way, like the super easy way, is to take a white piece of paper, take a Sharpie, a black marker, and you take the white piece of paper, black Sharpie, do your signature. Take your handy iPhone right here and take a picture of it. Make sure you get in close, make sure it's super clear, blah, blah, blah. Take a picture of it. Then put that on your computer and use any type of software that gets rid of a background remover. They are free online, or like Canva does it, different things like that. So you can take your photo, upload it, get rid of the background. So you have a PNG with a transparent background, and then save that. And then you can insert it into, Word documents and things like that. So that you then have your signature on there. And I'd say that's probably the easiest way to do it. And certainly if you're thinking of doing it like for the Ingram Spark, how you can customize the front page of a book and send a dedication in and things like that, you could save it that way and use it on that page to do a signature. And again, there are different, I thought that might be where you were going since you had asked about that before. So you can certainly do that. And I think that's probably the easiest way. There are apps online that can do it as well. But if you're going for quick and easy, the Sharpie and the white paper is the easy way to do it, in my opinion. That could be a New Shelves Instruction blog article. I have lots of blogs to write. Speaking of, if anyone ever wants to write in for New Shelves, if you would like to have your blog featured on New Shelves and you'd like to write an article having anything to do with writing, publishing, things that are just helpful for authors, let me know. If you have ideas, just email me. You can send that in to just Keri at newshelves.com. And if you have ideas for blog articles, or you would like to write an article which is then featured and sent into our newsletter, which goes out to a big chunk of people, let me know. We're always looking for people to feature there and to share their wisdom and their knowledge, because you guys are filled with it. I know that you are. All right. And we have been talking on and off for a very, very long time. I know, like 3 weeks, about A+ content. And so I know I still have done a video and it's still coming. I still promise it's still coming. But in the meantime, what we have done is we have gone ahead and made some templates for A+ content that I wanted to show you guys. Let me see. So if you go to newshelves.com/A+, it would probably help if I share my screen, because then you could see it all, huh? Well, we're all full of it. All right, let me share this. All right. So if you go to newshelves.com/A+, which I will drop in the chat, newshelves.com/A+. What we have done, and my amazing right-hand lady Anna has done, is created a set of templates for the A+ content. We have gone, let's be honest, Anna has gone in and she has spent the time to actually find the actual dimensions and sizing of all of the A+ content, because you have to create an image first, and that's what's most important, is you have to have an image and a graphic to do first. And so she has gone in, she has pulled all the dimensions needed and created these templates in Canva, to where you can simply, if you go to the Amazon A+ content, you add to bag, it's free. You go in, you add to bag, and it will give you a PDF that is hyperlinked to all the different formats, so that you can click on it, you open up a template, and you can create your own A+ content. It's pretty awesome. Let me see if I can find it. Not like that, I can't. But so you can go grab that for free, and it's really helpful because it honestly, that is what took us the longest to get A+ content ready, was simply pulling out the sizing dimensions so that we knew exactly what size everything should be. I'm just on the struggle bus today. I can't find anything. Yeah, I'm just struggling. There we go. I can occasionally do things. Let me stop this screen right here. Yes, it does include the measurements. Let me show you what it actually gives you. All right, let me see. 1 second. I see your question, Margie, and I'll answer that in a second. So what you get when you download the A+ content templates is you get this, and this right here gives you information. It opens in Canva, but what happens is that it tells you the size, it tells you exactly what it's called. So when you are in A+, these are what the images are called. It gives you the size that's required, and it gives you a template. So when you click on it, it's hyperlinked. And what happens is when you click on it, I've got to stop share again because I didn't share my whole computer. It will bring you directly to a template right here. And all you have to do is use template. And then you now have the perfect size for this type of A+ content. You can either, find some type of image, or you can just say, okay, great. I would like to make this blue. I would like to make my text white. And I would like to put a quote here that says, best novel of the year. Of course, I'm not going to quote myself in my own page because that would not be okay. And that is not within the rules, because when you are doing A+ content, you can only have a maximum of 4 endorsements. They must be endorsements, not reader reviews, and certainly not a quote for yourself. However, I'm really fond of my own writing, so I'm going to say it's the best novel. You can change it up however you like. And then you just download it. When you download it, you've got an image that perfectly fits that A+ content size. And we have these for all of the content. It is right in there. And they are all in there. So let me go back to our A+ content there so you can see them. There are different sizes. There's the standard image that when 3 images are together. There's 4 when there's 4 together, which obviously is a little bit smaller. And then we've got like the headers, so you can see that, the ones that have darker light text overlay. So they're all different sizes. We found them, we've made templates for you. So you still have to design them. Certainly you do still have to design them, and you can pull inspiration from places. I still intend to make a video, promise. But in the meantime, this will give you the template you need, so it's super quick and easy. And if you have things like mock-up shots where you can pull a 3D image of your book, that looks really nice with like a headline, different things like that. But it's all right here. It's free. Anna did the work and did the research, so you don't have to. You can just go in and design your images, which should shortcut you a little bit and not take quite as long. So newshelves.com/A+, and you will find that in our store for free. You've just got to download it. I've got all the great words today. Soon I'll be talking about a fortnight, not like the game, but like a fortnight, 2 weeks. I was trying to explain that to my kids the other day, that fortnight was actually like a word that used to be used because, my son's reading the Hardy Boys, and he's like, what's a jalopy? What's this, Mom? What's a fortnight? And so I was trying to explain to him that no, the Hardy Boys did not have a super cool video game with dancing. It was an actual word. We had a great English lesson, and it was awesome. And of course, yes, the phone booth. We also this week, as it happens, we're talking about phone booths, and that yes, we used to always carry a quarter around with us in case we needed to use the phone, which blew their minds, absolutely blew their minds. And I also wanted to show you guys what this can look like when you are doing your A+ content, what that can look like. So this is one I just came across today from our friend Barb Hinsky. I share it. I raised my own hand. I'm struggling again. All right, so right here where you find the A+ content, because I've gotten this question quite a few times, it's down lower, even lower, and it is right here under the from the publisher section. And you can see Barb right here has used it to kind of feature her series at the top. She's got the overlay, and then she's got a little bit about herself where she can talk about her other books. This is a good way to tie in her other books that are not within this series. And then she's got all of her books right here, so she can talk about her whole series. Really smart, clean, neat. She's got her branded logo right there. So it's not too hard to do. Again, most of it, all the text, all the side text is in the A+ content. That is something that you do right in A+. You don't have an image with all of that. You have the image and then you add in that content, and you can format it in a text box with like bullet points and all of that. So you don't have to worry about having the perfect graphic with all of that. You just have to have imaging to upload, and then you can put in your words later. And it's super nice that you can click, if you create some type of A+ content, you have a series and you like it on all the books, you can add it to more than one ASIN, which is the Amazon standard identification number. Most of you have probably seen that on your Kindle books. So you can use it more than one place by doing it one time. And again, those templates tell you exactly what size you need. So even if you're dropping in your author photo, having the size templates that you can drop your author photo into will immediately let you know the size, make sure you're not going to cut anything off or have any problems there. So go grab those. They are awesome. I've been using them myself. So, all right. You can preview A+ before publishing. You can see what it lines up. It like gives you a box that you can line up and see. And I really, really promise I'm going to do I promise I'm going to do a video because you can see it. And something to keep in mind with the A+ content is it can take up to 8 days to show up. So it's not like when you change your Kindle book description and it shows up in like an hour, maybe a day. It can take up to 8 days. So it takes a while. You can use it for, I believe, Kindle and print. I'm not sure about audio, Wendy, but Kindle and print you can. You just have to add the ASIN. And it's important to note that in the back end of your account, even your paperback has an ASIN that you can use to assign to. That usually shows up on your bookshelf. It'll show up right there and you can see it there. So I know that's kind of like half information and not everything, but I wanted you guys to have the templates because I've had a lot of people saying that they're exploring and they are trying. And so we will just see. Let me see. I was going to see if I could maybe show you guys. And we have like triple verification on everything. So let me see. All right. Yes, so I'm going to share my screen for a moment here. It's a sharing kind of day. Sharing my kids, sharing screens, everything. Yes, you have to assign it to each format. It won't automatically go over to print. But where's my screen? Okay, so you can see right here, this is the bookshelf, and you can see that even our paperbacks have an ASIN. You must list out the ASIN. So you can have the same content, but you have to list the ASIN not only for the ebook, but for the other bits as well. So when you do it, why not? Why not struggle bus our way through it? Because it's Friday. When you are in your bookshelf, you go to promote and advertise. And when you do that, you come to this screen. And then down at the bottom, well, of course, here's our KDP enrollment, then Kindle Countdown deals or free book promotion if you're trying to set that up. If you're running ads and you'd like to run them, you pick, whichever marketplace and then create ad campaign. So there's all of that. And down here at the bottom, there's A+ content. Now, A+ content is kind of cool because you pick your main seller spot. So for me, it would be Amazon.com. But once you create your content, your A+ content for one website, A+ content does give you suggestions on how you can replicate that and use that on other platforms, like for the UK or France and different things like that. So that is something they don't automatically do it. They do make suggestions, which is really cool. But anyway, so manage A+ content. When you go in here, let's see, you just go into, to get here, you go into your KDP account, you go to your bookshelf, you find your book and hit the marketing and promotion button to the right. And then you create your content. So of course you could find content, but typically what we need to do is start creating A+ content. So we're going to create content test. And as we create content test, you can do it here, and then you add a module. When you add a module, remember all those templates: standard company logo, comparison chart, standard for image quadrant. These were all in your templates. And so they're perfectly sized, but what happens is when you pick them, so let's just standard image, and I want this black box, or I could do a white box, but I'm going to do the black box. So what happens is it brings you here, and this is where you add it. First, you have to add your background image, which Lord knows where I have saved any of this. Let me see if it's on here. Look, I love when I actually have things on my computer. So obviously this is our sample. I wouldn't actually want to use this, but then you can do image keywords, which is super cool. So I could say writing or books for authors, I don't know, and then I can add the image. It goes right here, and then what I can do, this is the text overlay, so I could say I'm gonna stick with best book ever. Writers and authors will learn everything they need to know about how to professionally publish their work. Great. And then it will show up on there. And this is about where it will be on the side. Now I could easily say I would like publish their work to be there. I would like authors to be underlined. Obviously, I take way more care and not choose random words, but for the point of learning. And then maybe I would like to add some bullet points. Editing, formatting, publish. There's lots of steps I skipped, but again, for example here. I knew Randy. And then, so what I do then is that's done. That is what it is. And then I could do another one. Hey, I want to add another module. I would like to add my company logo. Great. Then I have to add that image. So it's a drag and drop or whatnot. If you use the template, it will be perfectly sized. So I'm going to go down and let me see. This one I maybe don't have. There we go. Standard company logo. And the reason why it's important that it's sized this way is number one, it accepts it. Number two, you know that everything will be in the box the correct way. You're not going to have any cutoffs or anything like that. And then I could make it bigger, smaller, that kind of thing. And again, do some keywords. Oh, yes. Test. All right. So there I have it. I've done it, and I can do as many as I like. Once that's done, I'm going to go to up here where it says, move the box, where it says next apply ASIN. I'm going to search for my ASIN. Now I could go and just try searching for my book, but that would be difficult. So what I can simply do is I'm going to go to my KDP bookshelf. I'm just going to go pull my ISBN because that's easier, or my ASIN. I'm going to pull it right here. I'm going to copy. There we go. And then I'm going to search for ASIN. So I'm going to just search it. Oops. For familiar products. Yes, I would like to search it. Why didn't that work? Yes, that one. I'd like to add it. Easy as cake. Then I'm going to pull the print ASIN. And I'm going to do that as well. And look, it's right there. So it's important that you do that, that you add both. And it'll tell you if it's eligible or not. I haven't tried, again, I have not tried an audiobook, but you could try that as well. And then you're going to hit apply content. And it will take you kind of through the process. It does then, let you see it, you submit it. And so now it's saying, okay, it's applied to this one. I don't think I actually saved the other one because you have to apply each one. But again, we can do that. This is why we make videos for YouTube, so you don't sit here watching us struggle through all the way. We make it look easy. Sometimes I guess it's good to see that it's got its own struggles for us too, so that I could apply content as well. And then it's doing both of my ISBNs. So then do that, and then next review and submit. This allows me to review it. This is what you were talking about, Caroline, where I can actually see what my images look like. And it looks like this. Not very exciting because I didn't actually format out anything, but that's what it looks like. And then I'd be able to submit. And if I do submit for approval, it goes through approval process and it takes about 8 days. Let's say I was like, wow, that was horrible. Let's cancel it. I can do that. I can remove it. I can get rid of it. It's very forgiving up until the point that you submit. So it's not hard. You have to be prepared. I obviously was not today, but you should be prepared. You need your ASINs. Definitely pull your images, get your templates, create some images. Go and get some inspiration from authors that you like. When you are doing this, go and get some inspiration. If you have a children's book, well, then let's look at children's books. Let's see, the Bed for Humanity. I'm obviously not typing very well, but so here we've got this book, and I'm pretty sure they have A+ content. Look, they have A+ content. So go, if you have a children's book, go check out children's books to see what kind of content they're using, and if you like it, you can do it. There's obviously different options. You can do reviews. You could do, for children's books, especially using some of your illustrations would be really smart. There are different things that you can do in there. And then for adult books, let's say, for adult books, it's going to look slightly different, and that is okay. So right here, we're going to go to Catherine Elliott with Behind Closed Doors, because I know she's got lovely content on here. And right here, you can see what they've done is they've just created this nice banner that kind of mimics the cover. They've put a 3D image of the cover, and then they just did 4 pretty simple endorsements right across the front. Nothing too complicated here, and it looks gorgeous. So we don't have to go crazy. You just have to go create something that fits in the box, that looks nice, put together, and then go try and upload it. It's very forgiving up until you submit, so don't be afraid to go and try it. Let's see, I think I answered most of these questions. Let me go through. Yes, all right. Yep, I think we did. I think as we were going through, we answered most of these questions, but I want to make sure. And no, this doesn't show up on Amazon ads. This shows up on your actual book page, which is why it's wonderful. And anyone who's got a book up on KDP is pretty much able to do this now. All right, and the link again, I will, it's just newshelves.com/A+ to find all the templates. It will take you right here, newshelves.com/A+. And then to go to find this, you simply go to your bookshelf. So you go to kdp.amazon.com/bookshelf. And when you go there, you find your book, whatever book it is you want to do, and then you go to the promote and advertise button, and that is how you get to your A+ content. So that was a bumpy ride, but that was a look at A+ content and how you do it. Let's see. And I will drop that right in there. All right. I think we've got all of that done. All right. Oh, can I drop the Catherine Elliott link in as well? I sure enough can. This is on the UK site. That is where it is up, although I have on good authority, this book will be coming to the US soon. It's not up on the US yet for the content. I did check. Yep, that's why it's on the UK. And there are quite a few. I will be happy to share some more examples. I had pulled some images the other day for a chat I was giving to a group of authors on Amazon. And so I've got quite a few examples that I can share. And maybe I'll do that in Free Advice Friday group. All right. All right, for a nonfiction book with index, do you eliminate the index for the ebook? Not necessarily. A lot of times what happens with the index is that it actually gets hyperlinked in. It depends on how much time, money, and effort you want to put into that ebook. Sometimes I've seen people link to something on their website where they're like, hey, for a full index and information, go here. But typically it's linked right in to the book, which does take some formatting pizzazz. Yeah. Kara's saying they always delete it. I've seen it both ways. I think it just, again, it depends on how much time and effort you want to put into it. I think you can do it either way. Certainly easiest to delete it. And Caroline's saying, Behind Closed Doors from Catherine Elliott is coming to the USA in October, which is awesome. All right, Margie has asked, Amazon has announced that they're opening retail stores. Do you know how authors can get their book into the retail stores? Is there a process for being considered? Amazon has actually had retail stores for several years now. They've had some retail stores mainly focused on books that they have had. They pretty much only focus on their own authors. Occasionally they will, if it's a top selling book, they will consider other books, but for the most part, they are pushing books from their own imprints in those stores. I'm sure that there will be more processes, but keep in mind it's an Amazon store and Amazon's using it to their best benefit by selling their own wares for the most part. Thank you, Michelle. All right. Oh yes, would it be okay to give us the name or the link to Vicky's new bestseller? I would love to do that. Let me pull it up to you. Vicky, our very own Victoria Sportelli, has done very well with her historical novel. And it is a series. Look it up for you. All right, so it's Henry's Spare Queen trilogy, And, oh, I'm still on the UK site. Of course I am. Hang on here. It's just kind of par for the day. It's going to go up from here, right? Give me 1 second so I give you accurate links. All right. And it is, her ebook is on sale for 99 cents right now. So I will share that because we love to support our own. Here we go. So this is Vicky's book right here, Lady Margaret's Escape. It's the first book in Henry's Fair Queen trilogy, which obviously has to do with King Henry VIII, I believe. And she had hit at some point, of course, when we're looking for her category ranking, this is where we look. She's still in the top, 23,000 on Kindle out of millions of books, which is amazing. And she's in the top 100 still, but she had made it all the way up to like number 9. So awesome, Vicky, way to go. Anyone who is interested in this time period, I found it super interesting, and it's Lady Margaret's Escape. It's 99 cents for a couple more days. I will drop the link, and there is my commercial. Let's see. There we go. And thank you for Denise for asking. I love that we have a community that likes to celebrate and support each other. All right. Will you please discuss the various e-publications, Kindle, Apple Book, Nook, etc. When converting our print publication that is created in InDesign with graphics on several pages, can these graphics be preserved, or do we need to just have typography? Graphics can be preserved, however, depends on how many you have and how tricky it gets. When you have, so there's fixed layout and there is reflowable layout for ebooks. Fixed layout, of course, oh, Henry won. I was only off by a couple generations. Thanks, Vicki. Fixed layout is where you basically make each page an image that is fixed as you go through. So what you design on the page is what people have. And that may mean that if I'm looking at it on my phone, that's it. It's on my phone and I have to scroll in to make it bigger. Whereas a reflowable format book, I can decide I can't read very well today. I need the text bigger, and I can take it from a 8-point text to a 15-point text. I can make it bigger and the text reflows onto another page. It is typically easier and preferred for reading, especially for text heavy books. However, when you do that, you do not get to keep your firm formatting for your book. People who have things like sonnets. I have a book that a client of mine just released today, actually, giving all the shout outs. Stephen Altman in Blues for the Muse. He wrote an entire novel in sonnets. It's like 200 sonnets. It's pretty impressive. And it's crime noir. Kind of mobster scene. It's cool. That's Blues for the Museum. He had sonnets, and these sonnets, obviously, they're pretty strict on how you format them. Sonnets are so many, stanzas and all of that kind of stuff. And when it's in reflowable, if someone makes it bigger, it takes it out of that formatting. It was a sacrifice we had to have for the ebook. Whereas if you do fixed formatting, we could have said, nope, it's staying exactly the size, but it wouldn't be as easy to read. Amazon in particular is really frowning upon anyone using fixed formatting if they don't need to, if it's not a children's picture book, if it's not something that's heavy in imaging, and they're kind of cracking down on it. So you can have your reflowable text and then have images. It just may not be formatted as beautifully as the print book. Is it better to just leave typography? That really depends on how much the images lend to the book. And that's really something that you have to personally decide. Can you put them in? Yes, it does take more care, but it is really up to you how you do that and how much they lend to the book. For your book, Nancy, I don't think that would be fixed format. I know you have images, but I don't think you have enough images for it to be considered something that needs fixed formatting. As far as the different publications, there is, of course, Kobo, Apple, Google, Barnes& Noble for Nook, Kindle for Amazon, all of those places. And so they're all there. Usually we upload directly to KDP for Amazon and Kindle. You'll need an EPUB for that. And then you can either use Ingram Spark or Draft to Digital for widespread distribution to the other outlets where you upload it in one spot and they distribute it out to all the other ebook places. I personally recommend Draft to Digital for that. And you upload one place, you upload your EPUB, and they will get you into Kobo, Apple for iBooks, Barnes & Noble for Nook. They'll get you into Overdrive and Bibliotheca and all the places. So I really like them. Or you can make accounts at each place and upload to Kindle, upload to Google Play, upload to Barnes & Noble. It's a lot to keep track of. So if you're willing, you can certainly do that as well. I prefer just to go to Draft to Digital. It's less accounts, less to manage, and a little bit easier for me and most of the people I work with. So yes, and you can have a photo gallery in the back, or you could have a link that says view the photo gallery, and it leads to the website where then you can maybe get those people to interact on your website. Is there any issue with having ebook and Draft to Digital and Ingram Spark? Yes, and the reason why is many of the times it will be a double listing. If you're trying to upload a book to Draft to Digital and Ingram Spark, they distribute to a lot of the same places. So then they will essentially fight over a listing on places like Kobo and Barnes & Noble, and you will be actually working against your distribution agreement with each of those places. So you typically don't want to do that. You can always disable one or the other if you'd like. All right, guys, I think we answered all our questions. It's 11 o'clock. It's Friday. I'm going to take this, hot mess express and be on my way today. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions, again, you can always just email them in to questions@freeadvicefridays.com, and then we answer them next week. I'll be here. I hope you'll be here as well. And we'll see you then. Bye.